Yo, what's going on, you guys? Owen here, back again with another YouTube video. Switching up the setting a little bit, today's video is going to be a monthly favorites video, or more like a quarterly favorites video since I don't do these monthly. As always, these videos are more for me, so I can kind of document over the years like what I've been into. In this video, I'm gonna be covering some items I've been wearing a lot over the past few months. Including some new pickups, some things I've not shown on the channel before. I've got some tees, some jackets, some pants, some shoes. I also want to touch on a few non-clothing related pickups. I'm sure you guys have seen one of them if you follow me on Instagram. And then at the very end of the video, I'm going to touch on some entertainment favorites, where I'm going to be highlighting the games I've been playing recently and the movies that I've seen recently. Lots to cover in this video, but if you could drop a like down below, it lets me know that you actually enjoy watching these videos, and I'll keep making more. By the way, I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody who supported the last Somar release, the Zero Fathom collection. It went above and beyond my expectations. I'm so incredibly happy with how everything turned out. And yeah, I really appreciate you guys' patience while you guys get your orders and everything. As always, there's some sort of hiccup with a release, and with like the holiday delays with the shipping and everything, it took a while for the inventory to actually land. And of course, the warehouse that I work with was mislabeling stuff, so people were getting sent the wrong items. Hopefully, by the time you're seeing this video though, everything is all squared off and everybody has everything that they ordered. Running a business is not easy, but I love it, and I really love being able to put out some awesome stuff for you guys. The next collection, by the way, we're aiming for a mid-April release. If any of you are familiar with clothing production, mainly overseas, then you know that Chinese New Year happens in late January, early February. I think it kind of like changes a little bit every year, but that just puts everything on hold. With our particular factories, we give our workers a month off, so pretty much nothing gets done for a whole month. So that's why we're not doing a March collection. We're actually just gonna push it back to like mid-April to make sure everything is done and squared off, but we'll see as time approaches that. Right now we're kind of conceptualizing all of the shoots and editorial stuff and all the creative work that goes alongside the clothing. Speaking of some of the clothing, I am gonna touch on a few Somar pieces here and there. For the most part, all I have right now are like second samples. I'm still waiting on some final samples and some pre-production samples, but as those come in, I'm sure I'll be sprinkling it in some content as we approach the next collection. But yeah, anyways, just wanted to say a huge thank you and shed some light on how it all works behind the scenes, since I know you guys really appreciate that kind of stuff. So this first outerwear item is a Dior piece. I've low-key been really into Dior recently. Quite a few cool pieces here and there, mainly just jackets actually, now that I think about it. First one is actually a denim jacket. This is a Dior Spring Summer 04 strip waxed denim jacket. This is I think it's called a Leclerc waxed denim jacket, and Leclerc, I believe, refers to the light blue denim, or like the wash denim. And this is the waxed variant, and the wax variants on the blue denim are crazy. As you can tell, it has this like really dirty sort of look to it, and the wax sort of like resembles like oil or slime, or it just like looks disgusting, and it's such a beautiful jacket. I've been eyeing this piece for a while, and normally they are just so ridiculously taxed. I managed to get this one for a good deal, and luckily it fits me because they fit absolutely tiny. I believe this is a size 52, but it honestly fits like a small. So it's really tough to find like a big size in these as well. Also finding one where the wax is like still pretty preserved, because it does fall off. And this one is just absolutely beautiful. I love how it fits on me. The jacket is obviously like pretty cropped, and then the sleeves are a little bit elongated. I always keep the sleeves unbuttoned completely, and the jacket is semi-difficult to button up like completely closed because it is just like a tiny jacket overall, but I can get it closed. Besides the treatment, there's no crazy details on the jacket. It's got your two standard front pockets where you can actually see the like peak of the washed blue denim underneath because it's not treated with the wax. Dior buttons. It has the classic Dior darting on the back of the shoulders. If you're unfamiliar, Eddie Slimane era Dior will always have like these signature darts on the tops. It'll be on the back of the shoulders, and on the pants, it'll be on the back pockets, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, I love this jacket. I've been wearing it a ton. I brought it with me to Mexico City and I got a ton of wear out there. And yeah, that's kind of it for the first piece. This next outerwear piece I got maybe 2 weeks ago now, and I have been wearing it almost every single day. It's a big throwback piece, but a really cool collab. That I think for the most part went under people's radar, or I know people like heard about it, but I don't think I've seen like many of my homies cop anything from it. This is the Supreme No. 9 hooded flannel. I think they released this back in December of 2025. And it is a really, really cool, like kind of oversized hooded flannel. As you can see, it does have a hood right there. And the actual flannel pattern itself is like a shadow plaid. It's a custom shadow plaid though, because as you might know, No. 9 has like their signature skull motif. And so the skull motif is actually jacquard woven into the shadow plaid. And I think they did this in 3 colorways, and this is easily the best. It's like the black colorway. It's sort of like a brownish purple and then the black, and it has these like pearlescent style buttons. I'm not exactly sure what they are. They're definitely faux. And it has little drawstrings. Like I mentioned, it is like super oversized. I did get a size large, but I also have a size small on the way, and whichever one I don't like the fit of, I'll probably just get rid of it. I got this for below retail, even though these do go for a little bit above retail typically. And yeah, it's really nice, like easy layer to throw on. It kind of works as a perfect mid layer. You can wear it on top of like a sweatshirt or underneath another jacket. Fills in a lot of gaps in my wardrobe personally. That's it for the Supreme No. 9 hooded flannel. Next up is, of course, another weird pickup. I think that's kind of like my go-to. Weirdly, I was on the hunt for Soviet era like tracksuits, and I managed to find a really, really sick one. This is a Soviet era track jacket by a manufacturer called Roma Athletica, and this is a XXL. And I actually had this one resized, so now it's kind of like a boxy, medium, large-ish. But I think this piece is so sick. It's got the 2 stripes that run down the sleeves. It's got this really uniquely designed hammer and sickle, and then it has the CCCP, which is the Soviet Union abbreviation, but in Cyrillic. And then it has another patch down below with the Roma Athletica, like wolf, and the hammer and sickle again. I love this shade of red too. It's such a nice shade of red. Very, very easy track jacket to throw on. Yeah, there's not too much to say about this piece. A nice little like niche weird pickup. I'm sure it's a controversial item for a lot of you guys, but I think it's really dope. And then last up for the outerwear is a big boy piece. This is a crazy, crazy jacket. So intricately designed. This is, to my knowledge, a one-of-one Dior SS03 Follow Me leather bondage military jacket. Quite a mouthful of a name, but this is probably the most insane leather jacket I've ever seen, and I'm extremely grateful to get my hands on it. The base shape of this jacket, like I just mentioned, is an M65, which is sort of like a mid-length jacket, but usually with a mock neck turtleneck style collar. This particular one has these insane like detachable bonded straps everywhere, which I'm sure you'll be able to see on the B-roll especially, but all of these straps on these cargo pockets can be removed off, including the arms as well. You might be able to see the arm ones have these button down snaps on the back. SS03 Follow Me is easily one of my favorite collections from Dior. It's so beautifully designed and styled. And this jacket just like has so many small details. It's so intricately designed. It has a zip placket with tassels on the zippers. It has this really interesting glove carry, like, I don't even know, like section on the front placket, so you can stick your gloves in there and then zip it up to keep them secure. Just another really weird detail. It's also very pretty. And then it has this little strap up here. I'm not exactly sure what this is for, so if you guys can fill me in on what that's for, please let me know. Has a zip on the collar for, I believe, what was a hood, but there's no hood there now. I'm not sure if it was like removed or if there was just never a hood to begin with. Snap down epaulets on the shoulders. It's got 4 cargo pockets on the front. It's got 2 smaller ones, again, with the bondage style straps. And then it's got 2 larger ones at the bottom, again, with the bondage style straps. And then when you flip on the back side, it gets probably even more interesting in my opinion. It has this really awesome gusseted back panel that allows for some extra expansion in the spine area, so it doesn't bunch up or like wrinkle the jacket in any sort of way when you're like extending your arms forward. This allows for so much mobility. And then it also has the gusseted sleeves. I completely forget what this is called, but you see it a lot on like Carhartt jackets, and that allows for extra like shoulder arm movement. So again, very intricately designed. Like the denim jacket, it does have the darting on the back of the shoulders. And then probably my favorite hidden detail is the upside down cross that holds what was originally a belt if you wanted to belt up this jacket. I'm not sure if this came with a belt or if it was just the idea that you could belt up the jacket, but it might be super hard to see, but there is like an upside down cross on the back. And this loop right here is what would be used to attach the belt, because it does match up perfectly with these 2 little belt loops on the front of the cargo pockets. But insane jacket. Eddie Slimane was snapping, of course, and that wraps it up for this big boy piece. If you guys have any info on this jacket, please let me know, because it's super hard to dig up anything on this. That wraps it up for the outerwear. Let's move on to some tops. Okay, hopping into a couple of tees. Of course, I gotta show off some gaming tees. And even though I probably have like 20 that I could show, I'm gonna keep it slim and only show about 5 tops for this video. So keeping it brief, this first one is a Mexican bootleg Resident Evil 3 tee. Absolutely crazy. I did a pretty in-depth video on my Instagram going over Mexican bootlegs. I did just go to Mexico City, and I now have about 4 Mexican bootleg tees, 3 Resident Evil ones, and then 1 Gears of War Mexican bootleg. And they're all vintage as well, so they're all like pretty old, even though they are bootlegs. This one is from 1999. And like I mentioned, this is from Resident Evil 3. It has like really unique artwork on it. This one has Jill Valentine and Nemesis on the front with the title logo hit. Beautifully cracked. It's got like the perfect level of fade on this tee. And then on the back, kind of like a motif I've noticed on a lot of Mexican bootlegs is that they'll have like a blue toned back hit. I'm not exactly sure why, but 3 of the 4 that I have like a blue toned back hit. This particular one has Jill and Carlos from the game on the back in like a weird like center placement, and then again with the title logo hit. Such a crazy t-shirt. Mexican bootlegs can come from a variety of like different brands and artists. Some are smaller than others. One of the biggest ones though is probably Peyote. And I'm not exactly sure which particular manufacturer has done this one. I've seen it come up before. It's not like the rarest one out there, but definitely a grail item for any Resident Evil collector like myself. Let's move on to the next tee. This next tee, or long sleeve, I was wearing in my last YouTube video. It might have been 2 YouTube videos ago. I'm just wearing it a ton. It's easily one of my most prized possessions in my closet. This is a 1992 The Sundays blind long sleeve. Kind of a crazy item. I still love to collect good band merch here and there. And my parents were huge fans of the Sundays. They actually gave me their original CD of the Blind album actually for my birthday, which was a really cool gift, and it's nice to have like the long sleeve to match with it as well. I got this from Twofold Vintage. Shout out to Jay and Alex over at Twofold Vintage. They hooked it up for this long sleeve. But yeah, this one comes in a couple different variations. This particular one has the Sundays hit on the sleeve, and then it has the blind cover artwork on the front of like this porcelain doll baby dealio, which is insanely creepy and I love it. Fits perfect as well, perfect fade on it. This one is on a Euro tag, just has like 100% cotton on it. And yeah, kind of a crazy long sleeve. Going back to a gaming tee, but kind of a vibe switch up. I'm sure a lot of you guys have played this game or maybe you remember this game. This is a 2008 Little Big Planet tee. You guys know I'm a huge Little Big Planet head. I have quite a few Little Big Planet tees, but this particular one is crazy because it has Sackboy front and center. Any like Little Big Planet tee with Sackboy on it will immediately get snatched up. It's got the pink logo hit as well on the front, and then on the back just has a bunch of other logo hits. Little Big Planet, only available on PlayStation 3, littlebigplanet.com. Yeah, kind of a crazy tee. It's so easy to throw on. I wear this tee all the time. Probably could use a good wash at this point, but this is easily one of my favorite tees in my collection right now. It just gets so much wear. Yeah, Little Big Planet stuff is really hard to come by. For some reason, it is pretty rare. I have quite a few though. I did just record a Little Big Planet collection video, so that'll go up at some point in the near future, but yeah, that's it for this tee. I've got one more tee and then I'm gonna do a hoodie pickup. This last tee is a crazy one. This is a QuakeCon 2001 tee. Quake is one of, if not the most influential first-person shooters ever come out. Nine Inch Nails did the original Quake soundtrack. It definitely brought first-person shooters into like a really mainstream format and kind of laid the groundwork for a lot of other games. Some of the games that I grew up playing were mods of Quake or were sequels of mods of Quake. It was a boomer shooter. We just go through levels, collecting new weapons, taking out enemies, and then at the end of every level is basically a boss. But Quake was so influential that every single year after the release there was a QuakeCon. It was referred to as the Woodstock of gaming because it brought everybody out of the woodwork to this particular event. They would host Quake tournaments. They would host tournaments for other games like Counter-Strike. There'd be like release trailers from different game studios there. It was just a huge event, and I absolutely love this t-shirt. I think it's so cool. I love the logo hit as well. It has like a particular front graphic where it just says QuakeCon 2001. It's so of the era, and I love the blue tone to it. And then on the back, it has the id Software, NVIDIA, very controversial now, Activision, AMD, Discrete, and what is this, Linksys, which I believe were probably all the hardware sponsors for the event. And this one was a double XL, but I had it resized because I was absolutely swimming in that t-shirt. I've probably worn this like at least 10 days in a row. And yeah, it's one of my favorite tees right now. And the last up for the tops is a hoodie. This is a Counter-Strike Online 2 hoodie with the big back graphic as well. I'm sure a lot of you guys are thinking that this is the same thing as CS2 or CSGO or any of the different iterations of what we in the West know as Counter-Strike. But actually, alongside every single main release of Counter-Strike, so Counter-Strike Source and also CSGO. There's also an Asian release that was made in collaboration with Valve and a company called Nexon, because in Asia, free-to-play games were really popular. They were way more popular before they became popular in the West. And Valve kind of like took advantage of that a little bit and wanted to make a free-to-play version of Counter-Strike, which they called Counter-Strike Online. It was extremely popular for playing like weird game modes, like Zombies was a really big one. And they also had a lot of different microtransactions, like where you could get custom skins for your guns and your characters. And so this is just a really weird, like niche pickup that I got, where it has the embroidered hits on the front and back. It's really similar to any like standard Counter-Strike merchandise, but this was all made in Asia. Honestly, a pretty standard zip-up hoodie, but I just like the little hit of the double layer on the hood. That kind of wraps it up for the Counter-Strike Online 2 hoodie. Extremely rare piece. CS Online merch is insanely hard to find. I'm curious if you guys have ever played this game before. By the way, it did come out in 2013, right alongside Counter-Strike Global Offensive. So that was a paid version, and then this was the free-to-play version. So I never got around to playing this. It wasn't available in the US at the time, but from what I've seen, like on clips on YouTube and stuff, it is insane. Like the skins that they have in that game, they are wild. And I do believe this was discontinued in 2018, like the servers shut down officially, because what was the point of playing this when CS2 was probably on the horizon and Counter-Strike Global Offensive was hitting mainstream and kind of becoming like the standard across the world, I guess, for like how to play Counter-Strike. So yeah, very interesting little lore or a little backstory for the Counter-Strike community. Okay, moving on to bottoms. I have 4 pairs of pants to show you guys, 2 of which are Somar, and I think we're aiming to release them in the next collection. I'm sure you guys are gonna be very happy about this because you guys have been begging for this pair. I teased it way too early, to be fair. I wasn't sure when to release it exactly because it's kind of hard to like design a collection and then narrow it down, have some items get cut out and pushed back, some items just get delayed, but this one's finally coming out. These are the Somar Moby whale wide corduroy trousers. The Moby fit is a new fit technically for Somar, but I've been sampling this fit for well over a year at this point, and it's the first pair that's actually gonna be put into production. Unlike typical corduroy, which is extremely like tight in its weave, I'm sure you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. It's a very like tight knit pinstripey pattern. It's almost velvety to the touch. Whale wide corduroy, as you can probably tell, has this super exaggerated weave to it where you can clearly see the highs and lows or the ridges in the corduroy. It is so beautiful. I have a couple of raft pieces from, I think, like the Confusion collection in like 2000, or it might have been Autumn Winter 99 to 2000, that use whale wide corduroy, and honestly, like not a lot of brands are using this material, even though it's so nice. It kind of is like perfectly balanced between like a going out pair of like trousers and some like really loungy, not quite pajama pants, but like a loungy, easy pair of pants. Like always with all Somar products, you're gonna have the quick draw pockets in the front, which look awesome on this material. And then to switch it up from the typical button fly, this one has a zipper fly, which is really nice. And then the Moby fit, I don't know if you guys ever read Moby Dick, but I've named a lot of the pants up until this point by Moby Dick characters. So Perth was the slim boot cut fit, Ahab was the straight leg with a subtle flare fit, and then Pequod, which is like kind of like a level up, is the wide leg fit, and then Moby is the baggy fit. And as you can tell, it's like a huge pair of pants, extremely wide with a super long rise. And this will be the first pair of pants that has 2 inseam lengths, but it's a little bit tricky with this particular pair because of the inseam. So actually it's kind of just 2 pairs of pants depending on which inseam length you pick, because they have to be completely re-engineered. We're like bringing up everything pretty much, and all the pockets and all the measurements have to be redone. But I know it's gonna be worth it because a lot of people have been asking for shorter inseam or shorter lengths in pants. The back pockets are welt style back pockets, so they're straight across. And this one has a little extra pocket right there, might be hard to tell. So it's got 3 pockets on the back. Yeah, not much else to say. I just got this pair in, which is why they are not cooked at all. I think I've only probably worn these like 3 or 4 times. But yeah, the Somar Moby whale wide cords are finally coming out. probably in April. Let's move on to another pair of jeans. This next pair of jeans I've been wearing a ton the past week. I just got them in. I actually bought 2 pairs and they're each unique, but this particular pair I think I like a lot more. They are re-engineered Levi's to have like a wide leg fit and some subtle changes in the overall pattern. In this particular one, you can probably see a little bit of the reconstruction on the inside of the leg, where everything is sort of like misaligned. Has some really, really beautiful distressing on it and some nice like whiskering and honeycombing going on. It has a released hem. It has a wider leg fit overall. And then probably my favorite detail is on the back pockets. The typical Levi style back pockets have been removed and the overall pant has been reconstructed to have a welt back pocket, but you still get the ghost pocket on the back, which is so cool. This pair is from Remnants Vintage, which is run by one of my homies, Tristan, but I did buy this with my own money. I didn't ask for it or anything. And yeah, I don't know if they're sold out, but they did release, I think it was like 50-ish pairs of jeans overall, and each one was completely unique, different colors, different levels of wear and tear. And yeah, I've just been wearing this a ton. This is a size 33, so I do have to wear it belted because I'm like a true 30. But yeah, really, really sick pair of jeans. Shout out to Tristan over at Remnants. He is killing it. And let's move on to another pair of pants. This next pair of pants is an interesting one for sure. I just got it maybe like 2 weeks ago, I want to say. But I've been wearing them a ton, especially on a camping trip that I just went on. These are a pair of Arc'teryx Leaf multicam assault pants. For those of you who are not familiar with Arc'teryx Leaf, it is a subdivision of the Arc'teryx brand, and Leaf is actually an acronym. It stands for Law Enforcement and Armed Forces. It is a military manufacturing division of Arc'teryx, specifically for law enforcement and armed forces. So a lot of military branches all over the globe use this particular brand for their uniforms and whatnot. There's some really interesting videos and podcasts about how certain clothing brands like Patagonia, like Oakley, like Outdoor Research, like Arc'teryx, are specifically dedicating whole branches of their business for military divisions and military purposes, because it honestly contributes to a huge portion of their income. Even though they are completely bidding against each other, that whoever can make this particular item for this particular task the cheapest gets the order, basically. And so these particular pants are like designed up the wazoo. You might be able to tell, like, one of the most interesting details about them are the knee pad covers. So this particular webbing is to protect the pant itself, and you're supposed to slide in a knee pad or like a knee guard into the pant, or I guess for this particular one, in the side of the pant. It has your typical cargo pockets on the thighs, and then it has some extra pockets on the bottom, closer to like the end of the legs. And it has 2 really nicely fleshly seamed back pockets that are Velcro closure, 2 pockets up front, really, really thick belt loops. It is made of like a custom ripstop material in the multicam pattern. So these are gonna be extremely, extremely durable, of course. It has 2 snap buttons on the top of the waistband, and then it has a zipper. You can see the Arc'teryx tag right there. And then it also does have the Arc'teryx bird logo right on the thigh right there. I'm trying to think of some other details. Oh yeah, it has a double layered closure on the bottom of the leg with a toggle as well, so you can kind of like prevent any sort of puddling, or you can prevent water from getting up into your pants or getting your shoes wet or anything like that. Extra layer of protection. But yeah, a really interesting, a really cool pair of pants. I got this in a Japanese auction haul, actually. These are an older version of the Arc'teryx multicam pants. They do still sell them today, and you can buy them as a civilian, but it is extremely, extremely pricey to do so. The best way to do it is honestly find a used pair online like I did. And yeah, that's kind of it for the Arc'teryx Leaf pants. Last up for the pants is probably my favorite out of all of them. Easily my most worn for the past like 2 months, ever since I got the sample in. These are a new cut of Somar pants, and this is just a first sample in this material, but it is gonna come in other materials down the line. These are the Somar vein denim in this beautiful, beautiful washed selvage denim. This is essentially our low rise boot cut fit. So it's gonna have a much shorter rise than typical like Somar jeans, I guess. And then it has just like all the bells and whistles you could possibly imagine, to be honest. So it has snap quick draw pockets up front. You might be able to tell the quick draw pocket typically does not have a snap on it, but you can snap these particular ones closed and still have full access into the pocket. The fit is incredible on these. You guys will see in the on body like how well these fit. Everything, even down to the button fly, is completely different on this particular pair. You might be able to see the new construction on the button fly. It is way, way, way more durable than typical button flies, which I'm really, really happy with. On the back, you might be able to see it has the same welt pocket design as on the Moby cord. So it has 2 large welt pockets and then 1 smaller welt pocket here. And then one of my favorite details is probably this wash. We are gonna do one more sample to try to get the whiskering a little bit better because I'm not thrilled with how the whiskering came out on this pair, like around the knee and around the thigh area. But my favorite aspect is probably what I'm calling the lightning streaks that run down the leg. That you'll find on some like really, really old pairs of Levi's and Dior denim, like with the super long vertical streaks that run down the leg. You can probably see it on the back as well. Yeah, I'm really, really happy with how this wash came out, and the fit is incredible. We're gonna be doing this in a few different materials, and yeah, I don't know what else to say. Super sick pair of jeans. These are called the vein denim, by the way. So stay on the lookout for those. Moving on to footwear, I have 2 pairs of shoes I want to show you guys. This first pair, I don't think I've shown on the channel before, but I have talked about them in some Instagram content. I've just been wearing them so much. They are the Chrome Hearts Wesco Gunslinger boots. Such a beautiful, beautiful pair of boots. I just get so much wear out of these. It is a chromed out pair of Wesco engineer boots. So it has the Chrome Hearts Gunslinger buckles on the sides right there. It's got one down here and then one at the top of the shaft of the boot. Of course, it has the chrome snaps on the top of the boot as well. And then my favorite detail is probably the scroll on the back of the heel. I wear a lot of really long pants, so over time the heel bite starts to occur, and then low-key just kind of like perfectly shows off the scroll on the back of the heel. And then my other favorite detail has to be the dagger on the back of the boot. Such a sick placement. To be honest, other than that, these are just a regular pair of Wesco boots. Wesco boots are just a tried and true pair of boots. If you're looking for any sort of engineer boot, it's a great place to start, honestly. And does have a Vibram sole on it. I'm considering getting this sole replaced with a Montagna sole, which is a little bit more of a like lug sole, I guess. You can like very clearly see the teeth on it, similar to like actual combat boots. I have not fully decided yet. Let me know what you guys think of that idea down in the comments below, but I've just been wearing these so much, and they're super versatile as well. Some days I'll wear my pants tucked into the boots. Some days I'll do one leg tucked in, one leg out, and then some days I'll just do pant completely covering the boots. I got these used, but I have been breaking them in a lot, and they're getting some really nice creases in them, as you can probably tell. But yeah, that is it for the first pair of shoes. And then the next pair, I actually just got in, and I've not worn them yet. This is a pair of shoes that I had back in, I think 2018, I wanna say, like one of my first like huge grail purchases. And I got them for such a good deal, ended up flipping them for an insane price, which is the only reason why I got rid of them. Otherwise would have kept them. Circling back though, 2026, I got them again. Curious if any of you can guess what they are. They are the Raf Simons Colette CDG Vans. Crazy piece, huge throwback for me. This was my favorite pair of shoes back in the day, and I am really glad I've been able to track down another pair. Low-key forget which year this came out in. I think it was like 06 or 09. Not the consumed collection, even though it has a lot of the consumed graphics on it. But they are essentially just a regular pair of Vans, but in a crazy collaboration between Raf Simons, Comme des Garçons, and a store that is now closed called Colette in Paris. And I believe there's only 100 pairs made, and they came in extremely limited sizes. I think only sizes 8, 9, and 10, I want to say. And this particular one is a size 9, which, you know, for Vans is perfect for me, because I'm a true 9.5. And yeah, the patina on this particular pair is stunning. I love all of the graphics on it. Yeah, huge throwback. I am super excited to have this back in the collection. I don't think they're going anywhere now. They're gonna stay in the wardrobe because I seriously regretted getting rid of them. You can see that the pattern is mirrored on the shoes, which looks really sick. There is the Vans tab on the back. And then on the insole, you can see the logo hits as well. And then the size is printed on the inside of the heel right there. Hopefully the camera can pick that up. They are just a regular pair of Vans, but they are extremely hard to come by for sure. So that is it for the shoe pickups. Okay, so that includes the clothing favorites. Now I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about some non-clothing favorites. I have two extremely big ones. The first one is I finally got a car after a year of not having a car, which was tricky in LA for sure. I finally found my dream car and I purchased it about a month ago now. It is a 1999 Isuzu VehiCross, specifically the Ironman edition, and it is a beautiful machine. I have missed having my own car for sure, but I'm glad I held off to find the right one. The VehiCross is a super unique vehicle. I'm sure I'll do like a whole video on it at some point on Instagram. It has so much character built into like one car, especially for the time. It's insane. It's way ahead of its time. This car looks like it'd be in Cyberpunk 2077, honestly. It's such a crazy car. It's a 2-door, but it's got 2 rows of seats in it. My particular one is completely matte blacked out. It's actually covered in bed liner, which is typically used on the insides of truck beds, but it's a fairly common treatment for cars that are used for off-roading, as this does have 4-wheel drive and it already has like off-road tires and everything. And this paint treatment will protect it from getting any sort of like scratches or whatever, any sort of like debris that could hit the car and fuck it up is not gonna happen. And yeah, it's just covered head to toe, which looks so sick. I love the red leather interior. But yeah, anyways, I've already done a few modifications to it and I have a couple more modifications in the works that I'm planning on doing in the next couple months. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that real quick since I know you guys are gonna be asking about it. The other really cool pickup that I got maybe like 4 or 5 months ago now is a new CD player and speakers. I keep it at my house, so it's not here in the studio, but it is the Bang & Olufsen Biosound 2300 CD player and the Biosound 2500 speakers. It's like a combo unit, like a combo package that I got completely refurbished from this guy in New York who collects, restores, and then resells these units, as they do need a lot of like love and care because they are pretty hard to come by in like good condition, I guess. Absolutely beautiful CD player. I use it daily at my house, like while we're making food and just hanging out and stuff. And if I have like company over, I'll throw on a CD or two. Bang & Olufsen is probably the most like renowned audio like manufacturer. I'd say the most iconic piece is like the 9000, which is the 6-disc like mounted unit. You can either have like on a stand or mounted on a wall, and it can switch between 6 CDs. It's a crazy thing. I did not want to spend like $3 grand on a CD player, but yeah, I am super stoked about that. And then last but not least, let's hop into some entertainment favorites. Let's start off with some games that I've been playing recently, or games that I beat recently. You guys know that I am an avid gamer and I have been grinding. Last year in 2025, I made it a goal of mine to only play one game at a time, or like one single player game at a time. And I don't know, the past couple years I've been really big on single player games. At one point I had a problem with like starting a game, and then instead of finishing it all the way through, I just like quit and never come back to it. So I made it a goal of mine to start a game and finish it before moving on to the next one. I've beaten 5 games in the past few months. The first 2 being part of the same series was Hades 1 and Hades 2. I have been a loose fan of roguelikes before. The one that I played the most was probably Enter the Gungeon, but I played that in like 2019 or something. So it had been a while since I played a roguelike, and I finally gave Hades a try because Hades 2 had just come out and was nominated for Game of the Year and everything. I was like, I gotta get around to it. Incredible games. If you have any interest in playing a roguelike like that, where the idea is like you die and start over again, and you unlock more weapons, and you learn the mechanics of the game a little bit more each time, and you just get like a little bit further until you eventually just catch a flow where you're just like beating the game over and over and over. For Hades 1, I think you have to beat it like 10 times to roll credits, or beat the final boss 10 times to roll credits. And then for Hades 2, there's like 2 different bosses. I think you have to beat like one like 5 to 7 times, and the other one another like 4 to 5 times. Hades 1 is definitely more tricky because I'd never played anything in that series before, obviously. But Hades 2 is more of like a sidestep to Hades 1. It is like a sequel, but more of a sequel in terms of story, not really in terms of gameplay. The gameplay is pretty much the exact same, just different abilities, but it just plays the exact same. Both truly incredible games, I highly recommend them. And then I also did a playthrough of Portal 2 since it had been a long time since I played Portal 2. It still holds up today for sure. There are definitely some parts where I was just taking a step back from my monitor, just looking at the puzzle in front of me like, I don't know how I'm supposed to beat this. Like, I don't want to look up any guides or anything. I was just really racking my brain over some of the puzzles. And then like, it is so satisfying when it finally clicks and you beat the puzzle and you move on to the next level and it just starts all over again. It's a lot of fun. I highly recommend giving it a try. I do need to play the co-op campaign as well, which is a completely different campaign than the single player one. So eventually I'll do that. And then I did a playthrough of Red Dead Redemption 2. I know I am super late to Red Dead 2. Honestly, this is a hot take for sure. I'm not the biggest Rockstar Games fan. I played a lot of GTA 5 online, but I never really gave the story a try. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. I just never gave it a try. I played GTA 4, but I played it when I was like pretty young, so I don't really remember that much of it, to be honest. And I was mainly just like fucking around. I wasn't really like doing the story for story's sake. And then Red Dead 2 has such a hard buy-in because the first like 2 hours, or like maybe like 4 hours honestly, is the most boring intro ever. So to get beyond that, to get beyond like that snow level, and then the first like couple like weird locked in missions, once you get to the campsite and you're able to go do your own thing, that's when the game really opens up and you can like, I think you fully experience Red Dead 2. I forgot to mention, I loved Red Dead 1 as well. I loved Red Dead 1, but that was the last Rockstar game that I actually really liked. And I put a lot of time into that. But Red Dead 2 is easily the most immersive game I've ever played. The level of detail in it is insane, and it definitely got me excited for GTA 6. I was not even that excited for GTA 6 until I played Red Dead 2. I tried to do as many of the like side missions as well when I played. So I think I got like a 70 or 80% completion in that first playthrough, like for all missions and everything. I was really grinding that game, but yeah. Beat Red Dead 2. And then the game that I'm on now, I've started a few games and then didn't really buy into it that much, so nothing really grabbed me. But I finally started The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered because I got that gifted to me on my birthday. And yeah, I am absolutely loving it. I played Last of Us Part 1 Remastered last year and I loved that. So easily the best graphics game I've ever played. I'd say the Dead Space remake falls just shy of that spot, but Last of Us Part 2 Remastered and Part 1 Remastered, I think they're released at the same time or something. Incredible games. I honestly do not know how Part 2 ends, so don't spoil it for me. I did not finish the show. I don't know if the show wrapped up the whole game or whatever, but I'm really looking forward to finishing Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. If you guys have any recommendations for what I should play next, let me know. Maybe I'll include my backlog screenshot right here for what I got lined up, and you guys can help me pick what I play next. But yeah, that kind of wraps it up for the games. And then moving on to movies, quite a few movies. I've been movie grinding recently. Damn, I've seen so many in the past few months. To keep it brief, I'll just say what the movie is, and then I'll say my rating and maybe like a one sentence, like quick thoughts on it. Boogie Nights. Obviously, Paul Thomas Anderson is one of the GOATs. Boogie Nights, I'd never seen it before. I gave it a 5 out of 5. Incredible movie. I've always heard of it, but I never really gave it a try. It was sort of a hard buy-in of a concept, I guess. But Mark Wahlberg, definitely in his prime, going crazy. Such a fun movie. And then I saw Training Day. Again, I gave it a 5. I was like trying to check off some of the GOATs, I guess. I don't know this director. I'm a huge Ethan Hawke fan, so of course I had to give it a try. Living in LA now for, I think it's been 5 years, either been 4 or 5 years. It is a really fun experience to go watch a movie that takes place in LA and see it from that perspective. So I gave Training Day a 5 out of 5. Some other really good ones. I saw Frankenstein. I really liked Frankenstein. I know a lot of people were like kind of like middle of the road on it. I gave that one a 4 out of 5. I really like Guillermo del Toro. I really like Oscar Isaac. I thought the visuals were insane. So I recommend checking that out, especially if you have Netflix. Another one of the greats I had to check off my list. A lot of these movies, by the way, I have on Blu-ray. We were given a lot of Blu-rays and we have a Blu-ray player, so easily checking these off. Almost Famous, I gave that one a 5 out of 5. A really interesting story about a music journalist who is sort of like taken under the wing by a band to follow them on tour. And the journalist is like 13 years old, and this kid is really trying to like learn about these band members and trying to learn about his life and love and everything. Really beautiful story. Wake Up Dead Man, the newest Knives Out movie. I really liked it. I gave it a 4 out of 5. I'm a huge Josh O'Connor fan. I loved Challengers. I thought he was amazing in that. So highly recommend checking that out, especially if you have Netflix. A rewatch, I saw Coherence, a really small budget indie movie about like time travel. It's like sort of sci-fi, but it's about a dinner party. Highly recommend checking that out. F1, I gave a 3.5 out of 5. I don't know, F1 was like super middle of the road for me. Very basic story, but the visuals really carried, and the soundtrack as well. Marty Supreme, I know it's super hyped up. I give it a 5 out of 5. That was an incredible movie for sure. I'm still tied if I liked Marty Supreme more than One Battle After Another. I think One Battle is my favorite movie of the year, closely followed by Marty Supreme. I think One Battle is more rewatchable for me, so that's why it takes the #1 spot. I saw Begonia, really crazy movie. I love Yorgos Lanthimos. I think he's easily one of the most talented directors out there, and I love Emma Stone as well, and Jesse Plemons. I mean, just a really solid cast. Really interesting story as well. I gave that one a 4 out of 5 on Letterboxd. Another one of the GOATs from last year. This movie is up for quite a few Oscars, I think, last year. It is a really fascinating premise. It's about a prison in New York, but more specifically a theater program at this prison. It's run by the inmates, and they are just putting on shows and stuff, just trying to like pass the time, trying to find meaning in all this, trying to find community and like a safe place. And what's really fascinating, I didn't know this until I finished the movie, the only character that didn't play himself is the main character played by Coleman Domingo. He is playing a real person, and everybody else in the movie is literally playing themselves, which is such a crazy idea. Like, some of them I think are still in prison while they're filming this. So they're filming it in a prison with the people that the movie's about. It's a crazy, crazy movie. Really, really beautiful. Definitely a tear jerker. I gave that one a 5 out of 5. Last two movies, I promise I'll be quick. Per recommendation from my homie Everett, he recommended I watch Justice League: The Flashpoint Paradox. I'm a huge DC head, and when he heard that I'd never seen that one, he's like, bro, you gotta watch this. Batman's going crazy in this movie. Like, I love Batman. Batman's easily my favorite superhero. I'm not big on the Flash, but this movie definitely made me bigger on the Flash, like Barry Allen Flash. If you like the DC animated shows and movies, if you like Justice League, you gotta give this one a watch. It is super worth it. I gave it a 4 out of 5, and now I feel like I wanna watch more DC animated movies. And the last one, which I just saw last night, the day I'm recording this, was 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. I was pretty big on 28 Years Later. I really, really liked it. I thought it was a really awesome follow-up to 28 Days Later. I never saw 28 Weeks Later, but 28 Days Later is one of the best zombie movies out there. And 28 Years Later was absolutely crazy. I think if you weren't big on 28 Years Later, it's still worth it to go see The Bone Temple, because The Bone Temple is way better, I think, in every single way. The story's better, the characters are more interesting. Yeah, the visuals are insane in this movie. I know the whole iPhone stuff with the first 28 Years Later is very, very impressive, but this movie just takes it up a notch. And it really delves into like the psyche of a lot of these people that are remaining in England, or like I guess in the UK, after this outbreak and everything. I gave it a 5 out of 5. I thought it was incredible, and the soundtrack is insane in The Bone Temple as well. And it's done by a completely different director. It's not done by Danny Boyle. It is written by Alex Garland, but yeah, it's really interesting to see how Nia DaCosta kind of like took the movie and kind of like ran with it, and she really did her own thing. It's very, very separate from 28 Years Later, but it is a direct follow-up, so you do have to see 28 Years Later. I don't know, I'm rambling. But that wraps it up for the movies that I've really liked recently. There's a lot more movies that I didn't like that I'm not gonna include, but that wraps it up for the monthly favorites. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like down below. It helps me out a ton. Lets me know to keep making these videos for you guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. See you later.